There's nothing like League. And this is the Betfred Super League.
No! Got me here. It took a big chunk out of me. Bleeding. It's bleeding. Oh no, it's bleeding. The thing just ripped my ear off. What do you think?
Welcome along to week 3 of Eddie and Stevo, the podcast, here with the blessing and support of the Super League's title sponsors, Betfred. 3 weeks in, and our first change in format of the new season. Stevo is indisposed this week. He'll be back with us next time. So this week, it's a pleasure to welcome a special guest. I've come along to the Leigh Sports Village to meet Leigh Leopards owner and chairman, one of the most colourful characters in the game, Derek Beaumont. Derek, thank you very much for giving me your time today. First of all, a reflection of the weekend just past. A big weekend for you on Friday, your home game against the world champions. It was your birthday. You pushed the boat out. Tapau were here singing before and during the game. What a fantastic night for you personally. And then the match.
Well, 52 birthdays, that was my best, Eddie, I got to tell you that. I mean, you know, secret to Pau fam, absolutely brilliant. Nice big crowd as well, and the world champions here, of course, as well, you know. And to then get a win, yeah, I must admit I wasn't looking that was going to come. So I was building it around having a great night and not being too disappointed with the rugby. So I thought, keep them under 20, get a couple of points ourselves, and I'll have a great birthday. But we won the game, man.
You did, and the second half performance, I mean, OK, St Helens have had the trip to Australia. They're probably a bit leggy, to be fair. Yeah. But they had you at 12-0 at half-time. What a second half.
Yeah, well, they were the best team in the first half, there's no doubt in that. You could see them drop off a little bit, couldn't we? In the end of both halves, really. But the lads just showed that belief. You know, the first 2 games where we've come unstuck with Salford, with Catalan, they're probably the 2 games I fancied us most to win. And the 2 we have, one of the 2 I probably least fancied us to win, if I'm honest with you. But we've seen in every game character and belief and strengths and determination from the team, and the will to win for Lammy. And I think the one time coaches get to do anything is at half time. And we fixed things up. You know, we did. We fixed things up, and they got a bit jaded. We got on top, and then, you know, to beat the champions 20-0 in 40 minutes of rugby, I don't think anyone's done that to Saints for some time, or likely will for the rest of the year, if I'm honest.
Fantastic win. It really was a great win for you. Now, you've beaten St Helens when you've been in Super League in the past. Mm-hmm. The big question, obviously, people are asking now is, and you've spent big, you know, you've spent big on your players, you've spent big on your coaching staff. The big question they're asking now is, can you, this year, stay in the top flight?
Those are words we don't even talk about, you know? Yeah, genuinely, we don't talk about them. So never once do we mention as a group that our goal is to stay in Super League. That you don't spend the full cap in this competition and have that as your goal. So, you know, we've got ambition. We're realistic. And listen, two wins there doesn't mean anything. You know, we started off in 2017, as you pointed out, we beat Saints 24-16. We should have beat Leeds here. They scored on the last kick of the game. We put 50 on Wigan here. You know, we beat Warrington here as well. So we started really well, and then we went on, I think, a 10-game losing streak after losing away to Wakefield. Ended up next bottom. So I'm well aware of what can happen. Super League's very tough. And we're seeing some teams struggling just now that might pick the feet up and be better. So our goals, you know, ideally we want to look at trying to finish in the playoffs. You know, that's what we're talking about. That's what this group's aiming for. That's where we're building towards. So
that would be magnificent.
It would be a fantastic achievement. Listen, I would settle for not finishing bottom, being in Super League.
Eighth would do.
Well,
Ninth would do.
Exactly, mate. You know, truth be told, that's the reality, because we've never managed that, and then we can build forward. But the significant difference why we don't talk about that this year is because in May last year, we started recruiting at the same time as all the other Super League clubs. And as a consequence of that, Chesney was able to go with the full cap and compete for signatures as everybody else was. And he's done a fantastic job. And we're seeing that there, getting people like Ricky Latelli, Zach Hardacre, Edwin Ipapa there, Lachlan Lamb. There's some great players all the way across the board. And then we've got some younger players that Chesney and Lammy see as being a future. So we need to try and build on that and thicken it up. So we need to add. We need more in the squad, but I think we've got some good people in there now.
We're talking about playing standards, obviously. Moving forward, IMG now have published, they've sort of set out the guidelines of what they're looking for in the future. Are you worried, looking at their proposals, about fans, about catchment areas, about finance, about stadia? Are you worried that on-field performance in the future might not be 100% guaranteeing you a place in Super League?
There's a lot we could talk for days, couldn't we, on this IMG thing? And I haven't really seen enough of the detailing and behind it. And as clubs now, we're setting up meetings where we can get into that, because we're put in a position where we've got to vote on something in time. Now, I will only ever vote on something that I'm fully invested in and I've give proper due diligence to.
Is that for you, or is that for the game?
Well, in the end, I will vote what's best for the game, not what's best for Leigh. I've done that a number of times. I don't think, unfortunately, enough people do that. And really, it's a big problem. Self-interest will always prevail. And as a director of a business, you have to act in its best interest. So it's hard to do something that's not in its best interest, but it's in the best interest of the game. So that's always a thing. Ultimately, though, Eddie, I think you can look at all those things there. And Lammy's a big, sayer of winning takes care of everything. And it does. And winning takes care of a lot of ticking all those other boxes that IMG have. So the more successful you are on the pitch, the more people will watch you, the more engagement you get with your fans, the more opinions people have. So I suppose, like with our rebrand, did I expect everybody to like every aspect or agree with every aspect? No. Will I agree with exactly how IMG are going to score this and the pillars and the weights to it? The answer will definitely be no, because nobody's ever going to agree with everything. But I think we're travelling in the right direction on first view. I really do. And I think that I can understand why championship clubs wouldn't be happy with it and just see it as an impossible thing to ever get to a grade A. My advice there would be that can be a standalone competition. That can have its own, sponsorship, its own right, and that can be something significant to win and have a significant cash value to winning that and monetise that competition. And then when you win it, you win a substantial amount of money that you can put LED boards in your ground, or you can invest in different aspects and look at 3 to 5 years of winning that competition to get yourself to where you can knock on the door and say, listen, we're a grade B, better than some of those other grade Bs. And then from there you get a grade A, because you can't really get a grade A from outside of Super League. I think that's the issue.
Well, it is. And to be fair, we believe that we've got a great game, and we have. On the field, it's a fantastic product. It attracts television viewers. But somebody has to take the overview, don't they? IMG had to do. I remember Framing the Future. Do you? Yeah. Framing the Future 1, 2, and 3. I think nothing ever happened.
No.
Nothing ever happened from anything that was written on paper. If it was indeed written on paper, so IMG have got a major responsibility, and in many ways, all of you owners and clubs, if you don't take any notice of them, people will say, well, you deserve all you get.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of people, I think, are a little bit misguided by what the whole IMG thing is as well, Eddie. So,
well, they're seen as saviours.
They're seen as if they're who we're all answerable to as well. So, I'll see things, people say, I have a bit of a laugh on social media. Some people take it too serious, but trying to get that engagement. And they'll say, I bet IMG think this, And I'm like, IMG are here as consultants. They're a partner. They've got a wealth of experience. They've got assets that we could never dream of affording to pay for as consultants, let alone anything else. And people need to remember as well, the big thing is they only generate income for themselves out of growth. So if they don't grow the game, they don't generate anything. You know what I mean? So we've got an opportunity going into their digital arms or their marketing arms. It's massive, yeah? And they're securing things behind the scenes. We're not seeing a lot of noise from IMG at the moment, yeah? And people get a little bit concerned about that. But I do believe that all of a sudden you're going to see, and I don't know this, but I believe you're going to see all of a sudden a rebrand, of the whole thing. But they'll only do that when they're ready with it. I think they'll come with the full suite and go, bang, this is what we're now going with. When all this kicks into action, I think it will be explosive and I think it'll be big. And I think for them to do that, you've got to come with it whack in one go. If they drip it in bit by bit, it waters it down and it doesn't actually carry the impact. So I think we'll get one big launch. I really do. But they've not got a magic wand. They need the buy-in from the clubs, from the owners, right the way through. And we all need to drive hard and work hard. And then Frank, as chairman of RL Commercial, he needs all the support of the clubs. And really, for me, I'm not one who agrees with dictatorships, but really for me, they need to just dictate what it's going to be. Can't have us all voting what it's going to be. This is what it's going to be. These are the clubs. This gives us the best, look as a sport, because you can't just say, I don't want to pick on any clubs here, but let's just say, for example, Huddersfield, Ken Davey, absolute legend of a guy, put loads of money in and time and effort and things he's done at Super League. They've got a big fancy football stadium, but it doesn't look great with 3,000-4,000 fans in. The guy at Barrow would argue that his stadium that's, in need of redeveloping with full 5,000 fans in at capacity looks better and is more animated. Cumbria needs a team up, but so there's so much involved in it.
There is.
But Huddersfield fans would slaughter me for saying that. I've said before, is Wigan with 11,000 in a 25,000 seater stadium as good as what you got here when you get 11,000 in 11,000 seater stadium? So should we score better for that, or should we score worse for that because we've only got an 11,000 facility? I believe it should be index linked percentage wise. So if you've got an 11,000 capacity stadium and you've got 8,000 in it, what's that percentage? If you've got 11,000 in a 25,000, what's that percentage? So it's your percentage of occupancy of your facility that is actually how you score, as opposed to attendance.
There's a massive amount of things to talk about. That is obvious. Rebranding, I think we were the original Super League. I think, personally, we should stick with that. That's another question.
Yeah.
The big question for me, and we've talked about it on this podcast for the last 2 or 3 weeks, we haven't got a TV deal in place yet. That has got to be a worry, hasn't it?
Well, it's certainly the biggest income generator is the broadcast deal. A lot was spoke about when the private equity was talked about and Sky had given us less. I think that was our own fault, if I'm honest with you. You've got a partnership with Sky that's been for forever, really. And as a full-time professional sport, without that support for all those years, we wouldn't be where we are. So they will always get my champion of them and what they've done in the game. So naively, in my opinion, we've gone away and gone to other people to see what we can get, which is almost like saying to your missus, just before we renew our vows, I'm just going to go and have a quick look round. I'm going to see if there's anything better. And then, there's not actually, so yeah, we'll crack on for another 5 years. And she's going to be putting up with that. She's not going to be angry, because that's what we've done. We've gone away to other people. What we should have done, in my opinion, we should have gone to Sky and said, this is what we believe this game's worth. This is what we're selling to you. This is what we believe it's worth. If you don't believe that, that's fine. On that basis, we're going to go and have a look and see if we can get what we think it's worth. And if we don't, then we can accept what you're offering us. That's a proper way to do it. Sky then have a look at that and think, do we actually want to risk these going having a look? Because will they actually get, and they might revise their offer. We did it the wrong way around. They knew we'd got nothing and went, well, there you go, and chopped our legs off. Why wouldn't they? So I think what we got out of the last deal that was useful was some of the free to air, so we could get the exposure. Not everybody has a Sky dish, You've seen probably today or will do, I think the IMG got a deal for the French TV to see the game when they played Wigan, free to air over there. I believe it got big numbers. So, we'll see. They're clearly in a better position to negotiate this than we've been previously. Nigel Wood probably got us the best ever deal, didn't he? People say perhaps he got us too good of a deal for what we were worth, and we're finding out where we really are. But it's nervy, but I'm pretty confident IMG will come up with something.
People listening to this will know the enthusiasm that you have for the game, that you have forthright views, that you don't really worry whether you upset people or you don't. I mean, yes, you want to be friends to everybody, but if you upset a few people on the way. I mean, that's you, isn't it? It would be unfair to say you're a Marmite character, but the people either love you or hate you.
Yeah. Listen, the opinions of me that are important to me is my own when I put my head on my pillow. If I believe at night when I put my head down I've acted correctly and I've done the best, then I'm happy with that. If people in my family start saying, listen, what you're doing is not right, and have a look at that, then that would concern me. People on social media, I'm not really bothered, if I'm honest. You're never going to please all the people all the time. What I do is I stand up for what I believe is right, and I'll stand up against adversity. I'll try and support things that other people struggle with. I like to be charitable. I love rugby league. I care about all clubs. I'd love every club to be rich. I'd love to be able to support all of them financially, but I can't. My passion's in this town and with this club. Would I like to see a rejuvenated Bradford? Yeah. Most people in Bradford think I hate Bradford because of the time when Mark Green was there and we were locking arms with them, But actually I don't. I'd love to see Bradford rejuvenated, I'd love to see Nigel get some success there. So, that's me. If you ask me something, I'll just tell you straight. And if people don't like that, well, that's their problem to deal with, not mine.
Well, you do. You answer every question. People talk to you. You answer the question as you believe it. People say to me, if you've got a big fortune and you get involved in a football club or a rugby club, you come out with a small fortune.
Very true.
When you put the head on the pillow at night, does that bother you? Because you're spending, we're all in the ski club, you're spending kids' inheritance here.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. Barry Wells, who was here on Friday night, he does the box for kids, quite, I suppose, famously with the interview with Jim Rosenthal when he got the chairman's award that Lewis Hamilton previously had, which is an accolade. He stood up there and said, I'm spending my son's inheritance how I want to spend it, having a good time and helping others and watching them have a good time off the back of what I'm doing. Now, in some respects, having a club and making it great when it's all we've got in this town and seeing that, just seeing the way the town's buzzing and rocking with everything, and that for me is a pleasure. I get a pleasure out of giving. My family are enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I'll give them the ways and words to be able to make their own money as well anyway, So I'm not spending something we haven't got, but I believe in making change. And if I'm making change and in the end my kids can look back and say, that club's a full-time Super League club, it's got an academy, it's something that didn't exist before my dad got involved in it. They can be proud of that, whereas some extra money in the bank, does that really leave me any pride? So I do it responsibly and a heart. I do everything tight. I run this place like I do my own business, like you do your house. You maximise the income you can get into it and you spend as little as you can on everything, getting the best deal for everything without compromising your DNA and the quality of what you want to be as a product and stand for. And that's what I do here.
You have walked away in the past. You've said, I'm off. This is your fourth tilted Super League now as a club. I think yours, the third that you've been involved as
all of them.
You've been involved in all of them. Yeah. Well, there you go. So you've done it now 4 times. Yeah. Is there ever a time, do you think, that will come when you say, really, I've had enough? Because you can go and watch Man United every other week, because I know you're a massive United fan. We won't talk about the 7-0, by the way, and we won't talk about last weekend. But anyway, you are a massive Man United fan. What I'm trying to get at is, if you didn't have this, would you enjoy that better?
Listen, this brings me a lot of stress.
I can imagine.
And you win on a Friday night against St Helens. I've been walking on sunshine all weekend. It's been absolutely fabulous. I go and watch United draw 0-0 in a boring game with St Helens, with Southampton. So we've got Saints. My rugby's playing the Saints, my football's playing the Saints. I probably thought I'd have lost at rugby and won at football. It went the other way. You can't have a perfect weekend, can you? If Carlsberg did them, it wouldn't be like that. So I gotta take that. But there's a misconception that I walked away, Eddie, because in 2018 I didn't walk away, but I had to give the perception that I'd walked away, because the club had come out of Super League and then we didn't make the middle eights. So we literally went from, with a 2 million squad almost, we went down with a parachute of 500, so we'd say about 900k central distribution, and then by not making the playoffs, we was down to less than 200. Now that was too big for me to be dealing with in a year.
These are telephone numbers.
In
rugby league terms, this is telephone.
Yeah. So I had to, if the players and agents knew I was staying in and I'm just going to rebuild and I'm cutting it down and got to go again, they're not going to do the deals that they did with me. So my thing was, would I have gone then? I would have gone then. I made the club openly available for somebody to come in and they could have my shares. I got everything down to zero. There was $100,000 in the bank that came in the Sky Money on the December. I hadn't sold any of the assets. None of the season tickets were on sale. No merchandise was sold, and no players were signed. So there was a brand new baby there for somebody to go and nurse how they saw fit, and nobody could come forward. So I had a year still running it, a bit more chilled out. Local coach John Duffy, some local players bringing back Ridyard and people like that. They outperformed for the budget and got in the playoffs. And then from that, I felt better, and here we've gone again. So would that time ever come? I suppose, if I'm honest with you now, this has been my biggest shot at it, because we looked at it last year and I said, I can't just keep doing this. We've got to change what we've done before.
You can't keep going up and down.
No, it's not sustainable. And this is why I've always been against removing promotion and relegation. But I've been in it in 2004 when we beat Whitehaven in extra time to get promoted to Super League 2005. Too late to recruit, we just got whacked and we come straight back down. 2017, we spent in Super League after getting up in 16 through the middle eights, which had some legs because you had to be good enough to win Super League teams to get in, and we did. And we didn't finish bottom in Super League that year. We came out through the same system, but nonetheless, it showed we were competitive. So that had some substance to it. Then we go in through the infamous Super League bid, which you kind of did the video for.
Yes.
So you know all about that. So I've gone in.
So I got you into Super League.
It was you. Honestly, that video nailed it, Eddie. I'm telling you. It was.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Well, no, but that was like kind of
it proved what you wanted to do. It proved that you had something about you, something different about you. Listen, not because it was me. It could have been Brian Carney. It could have been Ray French. It could have been anybody. But
it was the insight to ask you, and how everything was put together. And I think that, is a mini IMG sort of process, if you will. That designed us as the 12th best club in the competition, with the other 11 not being involved in the process. So that gives me confidence in terms of this whole IMG process. But we had to do something different. So I've come in through the conventional way, the middle eight changed way, a boardroom bid way, and then back in again this way. And the one thing different this time to any other time is we recruited in May. I just put my neck on the line. I knew that I could expose myself to £2 million. But I also knew that if we didn't go up and Featherstone did, they'd need players.
So you'd be doing a selling.
I could be doing some deals here and there and keep what I needed to make sure I won it the next year, because this is the important year. This is the time where Featherstone really have to do it, from their point of view. So that was the big difference. I'm hoping now we can get on with what I'm really in the game for, and that's to walk out with Leigh at Wembley or at Old Trafford, or both at some point in my life. That's my goal.
That's the dream, isn't it? That is the dream. What would you feel like if that happened?
Well, judging on how I felt here on Friday night, I don't know if I could handle it, Eddie. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I was buzzing like the fireworks that went off before the game. After that, you saw me. I don't think I'd sleep the night before, that's for sure.
Sleep the night after.
Well, that's definitely for sure. I don't know, I get enough brandy in me. But I'm terrible at watching rugby. Honestly, I don't deal with it the best. I get a bit frustrated. Probably, I do understand the detail of it. I see the work that goes into it from the lads and the coaches, and it's really difficult sometimes to watch it and watch our team make errors, watch the officials make errors, watch the other team, capitalise on that, and it's hard to watch. So if I was at something like that, I mean, blimey.
You'd have to leave the stadium.
A good one this year would be, for me, this was, we sponsored that 1895 Cup. I'll be continuing doing that for as long as somebody's not outgunning me. If somebody comes in with a better sponsorship, of course, I would expect that to happen. But I would love, can you imagine how good it would be to be at Wembley as the title sponsor for the 1895 Cup before, and then take that tie off and walk downstairs and come out with my team who was playing in in the final. That's a dream.
It is and it's a dream for all your fans, because 1971, last time, long time between drinks, as they say.
Yes,
and Derek Beaumont has taken Leigh. I know you went there for the 1895 Cup, but you've taken Leigh back to Wembley for a Challenge Cup final.
Well, ironically, the 1895 Cup was Tottenham, wasn't it?
It was.
It was that one year.
It was, of course.
So we haven't
You've not been to Wembley?
I've not been.
No wonder you're carrying on with the sponsorship.
It's still there for the dream, you know. Yeah. So we'll be there in one, guys, won't we?
You will.
So, you know. But no, that's the dream. Those are the goals, and the realistic goals for the team there. You know, the magic of the cup, that's what the cup's meant to be about, isn't it? That anyone can win it. From the championship, it's probably unlikely. But no, you know, anybody in Super League, for me at the moment, on the day, can find a way there. So we come in, I think, on the next round. You know, it's only 3 wins. And
3 wins, you're there.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who after Friday. You could win 3 and you're at Wembley. Wow.
That's it, yeah.
I think people listening to this can gather the enthusiasm you have for rugby league, for football, for life. Mm-hmm. You've not done bad for a lad from a council estate in Salford, have you?
I don't know. I've worked tirelessly for it. It's weird because I always said I'll be a millionaire at 40 and dead at 50. And when that birthday came for 50, I actually thought I wrote my own book here, you know, and that's, I had a few near misses on the cycling. And then I had the very, very near miss with the anaphylactic shock in South Africa.
Yes,
when literally
when you're on
everybody
holiday.
said I should have died. So it was one of those. So now I'm kind of over it. I had a bit of anxiety coming into this birthday because it's 52. I had a few things going on, and I thought, is that the 2 years we missed in COVID I've been given back? And now it's time to go. This is the real 50. But I'm over that now, and yeah, I work hard. But listen, I never ever lose touch with that. You know, I drive through Little Alton where I was brought up every day, going to my office and back through it, sometimes through Falmouth, and I see what those places still look like. And I never lose touch with reality. And a lot of what I do is I keep private. You know, there's stories. I mean, you see the people begging at the traffic lights. One day I stopped and I give this guy, I don't really like to see that because I think it puts people under, you know, a bit of a pressure when they stood there. This particular day I just got a good contract for a load of steps, and I thought, I'm going to make this guy's day. I wound my window down, and my plan was to give him 20 quid as I'm driving by, and as I do, the lights change. And he looks at me and he says, "Are you okay? You look really stressed." And I'm thinking, you know, you're asking me if I'm okay. And he said, "This has made my day. I'm absolutely buzzing." And I said, "No problem, like, you know." He said, "Why are you stressed?" I said, "Oh, I work, mate. I'm mentally busy." He said, "I wish I was busy." He said, "I'd do anything to have a job, but I can't because I've no address. I'm homeless." I said, "You don't need an address to have a job, mate. You just need a good will, an attitude." I said, "Go to AB Sunday, it's over the bridge on the estate, and ask for Neil, and he'll give you a job." Now, I left, and I've done this once before and never told Alan Rowley who it was at the time. And he rang me at 7 a.m. when some guy jumps out of his car as he's opening the gates and said, "Are you Alan Rowley?" And he's thinking he's wanting to fill him in, you know. So I rang Neil. I said, "Listen, mate, some guy might come in. I don't think he will. I think he'll take the 20 quid I've just given him, get himself 3 or 4 cans, get in his cardboard box in the doorway, and he's got what he needs for the day. But just if he does." And I remember the day well because it was when we played the Exiles game at Warrington, England, and got beat. And I rings Neil up. I said, "Where are you?" He's supposed to be picking me up. He said, "That blinking bloke's just been in that he was on about, so I've just been dealing with him." And 2 years later, the guy still works for me. He's got an house. He's got his driving licence, forklift licence. Wow. And he's got a bank account and he's got an address. And through his own thing, he's turned his life around, you know. And those are the kind of stories and things that motivate me in my life and my business.
And people don't know about this?
Well, no, because I don't really...
No, you don't shout it from the rooftops?
I don't publicise it, but, you know, some people have said I should speak more about certain things, and then people can see a different
People
side.
might like you more.
Might get me Marmite on more people's toast, might they? You know. So, that, you know, you never lose fact of where you come from, and the big responsibility I have is making sure my kids are where they are. And listen... I have dreams, just like people would dream to have what I've got. You know, I could dream to be on bigger yachts, bigger planes, whatever. We're all where we are in life that we're comfortable with. And what's important is that we can put our heads on our pillows. We're comfortable with what we do. We do help others, but we enjoy our lives as well, but not at the disrespect of other people and how they enjoy and perceive theirs. And rugby, for me, gives us a fantastic opportunity in this time where we can help people, we can do things, we can create enjoyment. You'll see a big community initiative on this Wigan game. Battle of the Borough, we'll be billing it. You know, the Warriors are coming. Grand final last year, they're the most successful club, and we've got 2 Super League teams in our small borough.
In Wigan?
Yeah.
In the borough of Wigan?
In the borough of Wigan, so the little bus stop is going to be taking on its big brother, if you will, you know, in the Battle of the Borough, but it's a serious one, and you know, we're excited about them coming, and we want to make a big occasion. We want to get all the communities in. I want to fill the place. It doesn't have to be everybody paying for it. I want to bring in the community areas, places and groups that can't afford to come and pay for a ticket. I want them in here. I want everybody to see and celebrate it and make it a real big occasion.
Derek, I've known you for a number of years. I've never sat down with you before for a half an hour and talked and found out much about you. I mean, people say to me, Derek Beaumont, doing a fantastic job at Leigh. Now and again he goes a bit off the wall, he goes a bit crackers, you know, he says things. People don't realise who or what you are. Have you written a book? Are you going to write a book?
I think he might lay them on that one. He'd be better at doing that.
Well, he's a good wordsmith.
Yeah, I always had the idea of from goal to goal, you know, because I've spent time chatting here and I say, does anybody ever think I've been on the dole? When I speak to some of these people, you know, motivationally.
Well, you've faced your demons over in your life, haven't you? You
absolutely.
Really have.
Yeah, I've
Number one, double glazing salesman in the country, entrepreneur, on tour with this, that, and the other. That's probably why you get to power and people like that here at the Leigh Sports Village. But there's more to you than just the Leigh Leopards. There's no question about that. This has been fascinating, absolutely fascinating talking to you. It really has.
Yeah, well, it's always good talking to you, Eddie, because it's nice to hear that voice, what we all associate with rugby.
Oh, that's kind. That's kind.
We're like wide to west and stuff. So, no, but it gives me a lot of pleasure, does rugby league, and the smiles you can put on people's faces doing it, and the pain, and the band. I don't take any of it personal. I mean, I made an absolute horrendous howler on Twitter yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. Where
I don't do Twitter.
I'm going through hundreds of messages. You can imagine we've beat St Helens, everyone's buzzing, and I don't look at Twitter other than my notifications, and I'll blip through, and one's come up. Steve Prescott, MBE, really nice message, right? I've not registered in my head who. Now I know who Steve Prescott is, and I know what happened. I raised 5 figures for him on a weight loss challenge, but I didn't read it as that. I just saw this nice message, quoted it back, and said, "Fantastic support! What a great message! Thanks so much. It'd be good to get you at a game, Steve, and have a beer." Now, knowing what I then knew, is now, but everyone's going mad at this tweet, and I'm thinking, why is all these Wigan fans going mad at me? Because he'd said never, or obviously it's his wife, never write Saints off, and I agree, you write Saints off at your peril, because I still think they'll be thereabouts. So everyone's going mad, and I'm thinking, why are you Wigan fans going mad? I also wouldn't write you off, even though you lost to OKR and Catalan. What's going on? And it was getting hammered, and I still hadn't twigged.
So it came from the foundation.
Yes, but the foundation just says Steve Prescott MBE. So I'm thinking, well, you know, I know it never even registered, you know, but it was a massive howler. And of course, you know, I apologised about it, but they were straight on saying, listen, what's wrong here is the people trying to suggest I've done that on purpose. I mean, how pathetic.
That's the trouble with social media.
Yeah. And they understand it for what it was. So as a byproduct of that, I'm now walking to Warrington from here for some mental health charity that we saw on there. And anybody who does it with me, with some kind of leopard print on, I'll donate 10 quid for everyone that does it, up to a maximum of 20 grand. So hopefully we'll be marching from Leigh to Warrington with plenty of leopards along the road.
That's for the match this week.
Yeah.
Oh well, I'll look out for you in the town centre
when you're driving past
in my Leigh Leopards car that you're now going to sponsor.
Well, yeah, you can give me a lift. You might notice my car next time you see it. That's going in for a bit of a custom wrap. So.
It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me one little bit. Derek, fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Thanks for your time. I know you've got to catch a train, haven't you? Because it's your lovely wife's birthday, and you're taking her away for a little couple of days treat.
She's told me the phone's going off. Imagine you're on the plane to South Africa and you can't contact anyone. So you're the last person I'm speaking to today, Eddie.
Brilliant.
Thanks
Derek,
a lot, mate.
Been fantastic talking to you, and best of luck for the rest of the season. Best of luck with I'm going to call it a bid. I don't know whether that's the right way, but best of luck for staying in Super League for time immemorial. Been fascinating. Thanks very much indeed.
Thanks, Eddie.
It really has been brilliant. So there we are. How about that with Derek Beaumont? I'm sure people have enjoyed hearing from him and listening to the sort of guy that he is. Things that we didn't know before. Next week, Stevo will be back on board for the podcast. So until then, it's goodbye from the Leigh Sports Village, goodbye from me, and goodbye from Derek Beaumont, the owner and chairman of the Leigh Leopards.